an introduction or just?
Yeah, we'll do an introduction. I'm the singing cowboy Johnny Vegas here at Mescal. I'm a new guy here at Mescal. Uh, I'm here with Robin Wayne. He's a legend here. He has a ton of memories, a ton of history of this place. And I know a little bit of it. Can you tell us about the stunts and some of the movies you've been in over the years?
Out here at Mescal, that hotel across the street, the very first episode of Young Riders, I get shot on the balcony up there, get killed on the balcony. Not long after that, we did another film called Desperado with Alex MacArthur, and I get killed in the alley back on the way over here, just around the corner. We did a Miller Lite beer commercial where we had a bunch of tumbleweeds come into town, and we were like a gang of outlaws who had to fight tumbleweeds, and I wind up wrestling with a tumbleweed right over here around the corner. What else have we done out here?
How many times have you died in Mescal?
I don't know. To tell you the truth, I got strangled to death at the end of the street in a movie called Ghost Town.
So fond memories.
Fun, very fun.
Strangled
Yeah, make a
to
good
death.
living dying. Real good living dying.
Nice.
I love it out here.
How many years have you been coming to Mescal altogether?
I started coming out here like I think the first time in '82. We were, I'm not sure what the first film it was that I worked out here, but one that was really good was a film called Posse with Alex, I can't remember the guy's name. I can't remember his name, but anyway, we were a posse of bad guys chasing some other guys, and we wind up catching up with them here in town. And we've got a wagon set up right about here with a Gatling gun in the back. And he has to run and take his horse and jump over the wagon while we're shooting at him with the Gatling gun. And then he lands on the other side, and the horse falls, and he does a horse fall. Goes all the way down to the ground with the horse. And then he gets up, and that was the cut. But it took him about all day to shoot that. They had 3 different horses for that shot. They had a horse that would allow one man to come riding up, and then the star would jump up on the back and knock him to the ground. So it was a horse that would allow 2 men to fight on his back. Then they would change that horse out and put a horse that could jump, right? And they all looked exactly the same.
Really?
They had the same white blaze on their face, same white socks. That horse could jump over anything. So that's the horse that they used to jump over the wagon. Then on the other side of the wagon, once the horse touches down on the ground, that's a third horse. That horse was trained to fall down on command.
Really?
So you got a horse that's doing the fight scene, a horse that jumps, and then a horse that falls. And it was 3 different horses, all in one 6-second shot. It took all day long to get it. But if you ever watch that film, you'll see what I'm talking about. And if you look real close, I doubt if you'll be able to tell the horses apart, but it's 3 different horses. Just little things like that make filming really interesting.
When was the last time you worked here in Mescal?
It might have been Tombstone.
Which was 94, 95?
Early 90s. Yeah.
Early 90s.
Yeah.
But
We were in
you-
the saloon scene where he's spinning that cup.
Oh yeah.
They're playing Pharaoh. I'm one of the guys in the saloon scene there. There were so many of us, it was kind of packed in there. So I just went over there and sit and played poker, and they didn't start shooting until sundown. They didn't quit shooting until sun up. So around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I fell asleep on the table. So I'm probably the drunk in the background, passed out on the table in that movie.
Nice. So that was 25 plus years ago,
Yes.
but you still come back to Mescal. Why do you keep coming back?
Oh, it's
What brings you back?
look at it. I mean, what is there not to love about this town? It's just a wonderful place. Everything about it's got a little bit of history in it, even though it's made for a film. You know, the fact that it was used in a film makes it history worthy, but just the look of it, the Old West. I used to say when I worked at Old Tucson that You know, Old Tucson was the last gateway to the Old West. But Old Tucson has changed a lot, burned down, new management, all that. So I think the Mescal has the new title. It's the last gateway to the Old West.
I liked it. That's what brings me back.
I love it.
That's what brings me back.
Just walking down the street, plus you're in costume, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who doesn't want to run down Main
Yeah,
Street
yeah.
being a cowboy?
Ever since I was probably, I don't know, 6 or 8 years old, first time I went to Old Tucson with my parents, I was fascinated with it. I mean, you know, gunfights and the old buildings and the dirt street. And then I actually grew up and got a job out there.
Nice.
So, and then that worked itself into film, which, you know, working at Old Tucson was no money. When I started working at Old Tucson back in the early 80s, it was like $23 a day. And then I started working films, doing background, making $50 a day, which was nice. And then I got my Screen Actors Guild membership on a film called Flashpoint with Chris Christopherson and Treat Williams. I'm a Border Patrol agent in that film. And after that, it was, you know, now you make $1,000 a day filming. Nice. So, and that's if you're just a nobody like me. You know, if you got a name, you're making $10, $20, $30,000 an episode or whatever. But I make about $1,000 a day when I film.
You're not a nobody to us.
Well, thank you.
Robin, my pleasure.
Oh,
You're a legend out here, and obviously you're welcome anytime.
oh,
Love
thank you.
having you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting me up.
Thank you.